Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Jiayanu, Pakhairagale, Nihao, Tunashumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimas, Guten Morgen. Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shumachatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba. Buna, mucho gracias, Swabia, Balikere, Hoshgal, Dinayo Sai, Huyamora, Chivato, Chahal Youth, and thank you so much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're certainly watching World this morning alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Ms. Hajar Satti. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well, that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Hajra, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for introducing us, Shahzad. And also, I would like to introduce the new cups that we have on the set and the green tea that we are having. Certainly, Shahzad has this way of having a coffee, I guess,
yes.
Right? Especially in the start of the day and then followed by a cigarette. So that is how he boosts his energy.
I mean, there was some private information, but it's all right, I don't mind it because I don't do it publicly, okay? So I make sure I'm not doing it in person. Even yesterday when you came in, I was like, okay, that does not feel nice. Okay, let's move to a better space. Yeah, right. But it's all right. It has happened now.
Okay. So yes, so we're very glad that we have been joined by our cups also because we have some really green tea, and green tea is a really booster, especially it helps in the digestion. But Shahzad, we are seeing that the weather is turning really hot, and we are certainly witnessing the rising temperatures. I think it's around 40 degrees today or something like that. And we are bracing ourselves for the extreme heat which we are about to get just in this coming month, and then we will get the monsoon season. So Shahzad, so there are different types of mangoes, which is the specialty of the June and July in Pakistan. And I think if you want to represent Pakistan abroad, mango is the one thing that comes into my mind. So I was wondering about mangoes, and I came across this very interesting piece of fact that there's also this Japanese mango, and which is red in color, pink or I mean magenta sort of in color, and it costs around $50 per piece, right? It is such an expensive mango, but I think in Pakistan we have such a wonderful taste of the mango, and the more it gets, the more weather is heated, the more sweeter mango that we get. And what Ghalib used to say, the aam bahut ho aur meethe ho, right? This is
aam bahut ho aur meethe, and that's very rightfully said. And I think when we speak of Japan, or when we speak about Japan, I don't think that they have so much of land dedicated towards agriculture, which is why hence agriculture can be expensive over there. Imagine, before this, I think it was only avocados which were not really cheaper, but very expensive. So I went to this lady's house, she does this organic farming. And, she had a big tree full of avocados. And I was like, what is this? And she goes to me, that's a gold mine. And I was like, why is that a gold mine? And she's like, that we sell one avocado for 800 rupees, and I'm like, there's so many on it, so it was somewhat around 500,000 on that one tree as well. So ladies and gentlemen, as far as you're enjoying it and as far as you can afford it, I think you would certainly want to have that Japanese mango, or probably the mangoes over here, which in $50 you can get, I think, 8 kgs or 10 kgs. Enjoy the Sindri, the Chaunsa. What other types of mangoes are there?
Sindri, Chaunsa, Anvarator, Langda, and what else? I mean, there are lots of mangoes, but I can recall it when I see the types of it. But the sweeter the smell is, I think, the more this it's smell prettier, I think the sweeter it gets.
Exactly. And what they say is that, if you are to eat mangoes, what you need to do is that you really need to roll up your sleeves, and the mango juice really needs to drip from your elbow over here. That's what they say. That's when they say that you've eaten mangoes.
There's particular type because Anvarator, it's very small, and I think you eat it by sucking it, right? Yeah. You soften it and then you suck it. But I think when it comes to Langda and other types, so you can just slice it up and I mean cut it in the cubes and whatever like the type. But the messier it gets, I think the more sweeter it is, right?
And obviously, this heat, ladies and gentlemen, which we are going to experience now, will give us more better and more fruitful mangoes, so imagine that the taste which we have been missing or lacking, I think we'll get this after this very heat segment or whatever is going on right now. So ladies and gentlemen, let's pray that it's going to be hotter for a few days, and then obviously we're going to have this transition into monsoon, which is going to be earlier than August. It was in August last year. But very quickly, moving on towards the top stories, let's see what's happening inside the country and outside the country. Haja, why don't you take the lead?
Okay. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has chaired a meeting on the budget focusing to provide maximum relief to the poor and the middle class in the country. Despite the economic challenges, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has directed to provide maximum relief by utilizing existing resources in the best manner. He ordered to devise a comprehensive plan to directly deliver the subsidy on the fertilizer to the farmers. Prime Minister said solarization of the tube wells will reduce the fuel import bill and farmers' production cost per acre. Prime Minister has issued directives to deliver the effects of reduction in the prices of petroleum to the common man, and also ordered to expand the scope of Benazir income support program and to ensure the inclusion of deserving people. And certainly this is the month of June, and June is the month of Pakistan's fiscal year, budgetary fiscal years, because obviously and that the government is into the process of making the adjustments, the cuts and all the budget which goes around. And I think Prime Minister is extremely right when he talks about Benazir income support program, because there is a huge chunk of the people who need that money, and especially considering the fact that we are a poor country, we do not have that much of a resources, but our state is ready to invest in such sort of people who are on the fringes of the country and who are not exactly included in that belt.
Exactly, and obviously this transcends from the top leadership over here, ladies and gentlemen. If we are to speak of it, obviously the Premier himself has actually spoken about it and addressed this issue. Every single day. I believe that whenever we are here and when we share the news, it looks like as if Pakistan is going in the right direction, and that's what we want to believe in as well. But very quickly, so Hajar, do you remember that? I think it was a week ago that we did a news segment, and that news segment had to say that, you know, that our people went from here.
Yes, our doctors.
Very sorry.
They went to Chad and they did, I think, 400 or something cataract surgeries. And especially considering the fact that the Chad is an African country and it has a dearth of resources there. And our people going there and helping out the people in their need is always really great. Why? Because people need the help, and this cross-pollination of ideas, cross-intersection of the people, cross-movement of the people is always good, because obviously we are not just helping them out also, and it also broadens our horizon and always helps us in our soft diplomacy, and that was held under the banner of COMSTEC, right? So it's a very great initiative, because the Muslim countries came together and they said that Muslims had a very vibrant past, a very intellectual past, so why not once again revive that tradition of bringing science and religion together and making sure that there's something beautiful sprouts out from
exactly
there.
And it contributes to the member states of the OIC as well, and not just that. Imagine that for all of the people which have been helped, and that too by all of their philanthropic initiatives. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that they're all prayers about Pakistan, and for all of those team members who actually went over there, all the doctors and the finest doctors, ophthalmologists, ladies and gentlemen, went over there. But what is COMSTEC? You know, let's talk about their existence. What do they actually do? And then we have a couple of questions, because we're very lucky, ladies and gentlemen, that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the Coordinator General for COMSTEC, ladies and gentlemen. He is Professor Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Shahzad. Thank you, Hajar.
Thank you, sir, so much for joining us. And while we were speaking of mangoes and everything, have you tasted mangoes this summer already?
Absolutely. this country offers a lot of things, actually, and mangoes is certainly one of these.
I think it's wonderful. But, sir, very quickly, you know, for our viewers who are out there, imagine this was, for me, ever since I've been on television, very first time I've heard that, you know, Pakistan has been giving generous donations to other countries where it was required. But it was for the very first time, and it was one of a kind that, you know, the ophthalmologist from Pakistan went to Chad, gave away 400 cataract surgeries for free so that they could make sure. But what does COMSTEC actually do? So, let's dwell on that.
You see, what happened was that Organization of Islamic Cooperation, 57 countries, the second largest group of United Nations, has decided to constitute a ministerial standing committee comprised of 57 ministers in 4 continents, from Suriname all the way to Indonesia, and Pakistan was given this responsibility of coordinating.
Okay.
So we host this huge institution, international institution, which is chaired by the President of Pakistan and co-chaired by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And this COMSTEC headquarter right on Constitution Avenue is the Center for Science, Technology, Higher Education and Health Program of OIC countries.
Exactly. And sir, in addition to that, I think that the main motive over here is to kind of provide that coordination and cooperation, and that too for technology and innovation. So how do you think that COMSTEC is making sure that they're going to move in the right direction, making sure that technological interventions will take place, and that too timely, which will benefit the country and the other Islamic cooperation members, OIC members as well?
Yes.
See, as very rightly during the introduction has been said, that COMSTEC is a major instrument of Pakistan's science diplomacy.
True.
So we are connected to 57 countries. We are involved in inter-Islamic cooperation. We are building institutions. We are helping in capacity building. We have a huge program for women science development. we have programs for health sector. So, there are a huge number of programs, and as you said that very often we underestimate ourselves. Well, the fact is that in many countries of the world, Comstek and Pakistan through Comstek has helped and made significant difference in the life of people.
Wow.
And that need to be highlighted.
And can you share a few as well over here, because we're going out in 47 different countries as of now?
Yes.
Okay, so for instance, you mentioned about Chad program. Chad is in North and Central Africa. This is somewhere in between. It's a very, very poor country. Certainly a very large country also, and extremely important because the current Secretary General of OIC is also from Chad.
Yes.
And Chad and that particular belt of West Africa and Sahel suffers from lots of disease burden, including blindness. And what we have done was that in last 3 years, we have been sending teams of very high quality ophthalmologists to these countries. So, we have been to Niger, we have been to Chad, and they have not only conducted surgeries for cataract and retina, also they also trained the local doctors.
But Dr. Saab, as a Muslims, as a Ummah, we had a very vibrant past. So, for example, if you talk about the names as the like of Jabir bin Hayyan, he's the known of the father of the modern chemistry, and Ibn Sina, all of these were very well versed in the theology and from the Islam, from the Quran.
Mathematics.
Yes, their philosophy sprang, and they were just not into the philosophy, they were also into the sciences, the natural sciences. And we see that there was a very flourishing, these are the capital of Baghdad was very flourishing, and then the capital of Cordoba, which was under the Muslim rule in the Iberian Peninsula, and obviously Makkah and Medina. So, but do you think that the current state of Ummah, the right point at which we are at this moment, what needs to be done in order so that we can revert back to that glorious past where we had flourishing figures like Jabir bin Hayyan, Avicenna, Ibn Rushd, and lots of other names to our credit as a Muslim Ummah? So, where did we lag before, and what was the idea when we talk about the Comstek? Is it inspired by this idea in the first place?
Or do we even lag?
We certainly lag. The Muslim world is far behind from the global average. We do not really have any major substantial development in science and technology in higher education. But I want to tell you, 1.9 billion people, the country, if you fly from Papua, Indonesia, all the way to Maghreb, Mauritania, is going to be 15 hours flight without any break. So, you would really have this vast land of Muslims, and 1.9 billion, half of them are less than the age of 23.
Yes.
And this is where we need to invest. So, Comstek has initiated a very large program for capacity building. So, I want to tell you that we have with our university's Comstek Consortium of Excellence, this was the only organization in the entire OIC system and the only country in the world which has offered 500 fellowship for Palestinians.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
From occupied territories.
Right.
This is the only country which is offering scholarship for least developed African countries. There are so many of them. If you go and walk into Comstek building, you will find people from different countries. Also, this is the only country through Comstek which is offering a huge capacity building initiatives and programs for Muslim minorities.
Yep.
So, our hope is young people.
Yes.
And that is the asset which would eventually become Jabir bin Hayyan, Al-Baruni and Al-Farabi of the future, inshallah.
And you very rightfully mentioned that, that for those 1.9 billion Muslims, a 15-hour long flight, obviously, so Comstek is looking forward, and all the member states are looking forward to making sure that they're going to build that capacity, 500 fellowships and scholarship programs. It's a wonderful initiative. But do you think that the motive is to aid them only, or do you think that that in days to come, inshallah, this capacity building will help all the member states in making sure that we progress?
In science and technology, the real asset of any nation is between the 2 years.
True.
That is what the entire development in future is going to be intellectual based, and that is where we need to invest. So, if we invest in young people in Pakistan and in different countries, also link them together, develop good institution, we have a great hope for this country and for this ummah, inshallah.
Right. So this cross-pollination of ideas, or I would say the cross-movement of the people, has also this undertone of a soft power, right? So, for example, if you see America invests a lot in their scholarship programs, and the European Union does the same. It offers the Erasmus Mundus scholarship program, and it invests heavily into that. But do you think that the Comstech is at the same level where the Erasmus program is, or for example, where the US scholarship programs are? Because obviously they're very popular. Secondly, the intellectual standards are very high. So when you talk about offering scholarship programs, number one, what are the universities in particular where the students can go? Is it only limited to the Muslim countries, or it's limited to, it can be expanded to the Western world or the America, or the lands where the intellectual standards are far higher than the lands where they are not, right?
So that we can judge where the capacity building is better.
Yes.
Thank you very much. A very important question. You know, of course, the American scholarships or European scholarships are much larger. They invest a lot of money also. But we have been focusing on strategic intervention also.
Right.
I mean, you would be happy to know that within the Muslim world also, there are very advanced countries, very advanced institutions.
Yes,
so our focus has been to actually focus on them and take the brightest of Muslim young people, young men and women, to those institutions. So the impact is very high. I would also tell you that this country, we very often, you know, as I said, that we underestimate ourselves. You go to Africa, you go to Central Asia, you go to these countries also, perception of Pakistan is what is a technologically advanced country, is a wonderful, beautiful country, the country where people are always willing to help the Muslim world also. So this is the soft image of the country on which we need to actually build upon.
But you have skipped my question where I ask you what are the particular universities in which we have the option if a Comstech is offering you a scholarship?
Okay, so what Comstech has done is a combined the top universities of the Muslim world into a consortium of excellence.
Okay.
We're not really sending them out to non-OIC countries.
Okay.
That is beyond our scope. So we have universities of Turkey, like Middle East Technical University, Shahid Beheshti University of Iran, we have UITM, University of Technology, Mara, several universities of Indonesia, Egypt, Kazakhstan, Bangladesh, many countries, and our own, you know, we have excellent institution in this country.
That's true.
And these are the places where they come, they learn, and eventually at the end of the day they take that knowledge and soft image of the country.
Exactly, and obviously it might come with a lot of challenges, and I would certainly want to touch upon that towards the end, but very quickly, obviously there might be some knowledge based or knowledge sharing models as well, you know, some collaborations with different universities, like you mentioned, some universities from Turkey as well. And where you speak of that, you know, that if God forbid Muslims are somewhere a religious minority and, you know, it's a conflict hit area, we'll make sure to get those students, send them to universities so that they can actually kind of prepare for a better future. So first of all, you know, collaborations, you know, knowledge sharing model, and then coming down to the challenges.
Absolutely. So knowledge sharing and institution building, you would be happy to know that University of Technology Lahore has built a whole faculty in Gambia.
Wow.
You know, International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, University of Karachi is developing international accredited halal product testing laboratory in Kampala, Uganda.
Okay, wonderful.
Arid Agriculture University of Rawalpindi is building a citrus research institute in Lagos. You know, these are already in process.
Wonderful.
So there are many international linkages with our institution that actually happens. Of course, there are a lot of challenges. The resources are major challenges also, but you know, in the absence of huge funding, the only thing which works is partnership, and that partnership is not within only within the Muslim world also, but we have International Foundation of Science, Sweden.
Wonderful.
We have International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, Italy. We have TWAS, UNESCO. They are all helping in this common goal of developing capacity of young people in least developed countries. And the objective is that when Muslim world will be enlightened, we will have more science and technology, the development will sprout.
Yes, and Shahzad mentioned a very wonderful point, and he alluded to the fact that there are a lot of challenges, right? So one of the challenges that I think as a Muslim, the youth of the Muslim Ummah we face is that there's so much encroachment of these modern sciences on our religion, where they're asking us to dissect our religion away from the secularization or the sciences in the first place. And I don't think so that this is the answer to having a very modernized sort of a progressive sort of a system, right? So how do you believe we can protect our youth from this onslaught of very secular ideology? Because I don't see a very firm counter narrative coming from the Muslim world, which was very vibrant in the past.
And carry the values forward, which obviously, you know, our religion tells us, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has shared with us, rather than forgetting that path in order to become more modern technologically, or maybe when we speak of innovations.
See, there is a lot of people have actually done a lot of research on the compatibility of religion with science and technology. And I say with complete confidence that our religion, Islam, has absolutely nothing which can really stop us to gain knowledge and go for technology. In fact, our religion provides us that value system which is required for modern technologies to be in the right direction also. So, absolutely the compatibility of religion and science and technology actually guide us in a right way. Ilm nafi jise kehte hain na. So, the knowledge which benefit, and that is our strength.
And exactly, that's something, ladies and gentlemen, which we are seeking, and we'll continue to seek it and make sure that this world will be a better place to live. But thank you so much, Dr. Saab, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And early in the morning, I've never really met a person who's so calm, you know, yet energetic, and making sure that every point goes, you know, to the extent where people will understand it. So thank you so much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Saab has mentioned it, that, you know, in days to come, the only thing I think we will be depending on, or we should have been dependent on, is in between our ears. So, you know, while we speak of 1.9 billion Muslims, let's talk about these 60% youth over here within the country and how they really need to move forward. Imagine there's a debate in between you know, husbands and wives, where they're saying that, okay, you know, since it's summer vacations, we need to send our children to summer schools. And then, you know, either it can be the husband or the wife saying that, hey, you know what, you know, this is the only time that we can spend together. We can impart some moral values, some ethos, you know, for all of those things which the schools might not even teach them. And it's a long-going debate, you know. So obviously, in a debate, a wife's going to win, ladies and gentlemen. But on the show, let's see what's going to happen right after a short break. Don't go anywhere. Good morning.
Welcome back, and now we are getting towards some very interesting conversation, because we have been planning this show for quite some time, and there are some parents who are of the opinion, especially I think that the fatherly side, that they say that the kids should spend their time not in the summer schools but within their houses, because this is where the growth lies, and this is the time where they can interact with their parents. But of course, mothers have a different point of view, because they're all the time with their kids and they feel
they want some rest. They want some rest. They're like, okay, you know, once if I'm going to send the kids to summer school or wherever, I can sleep on my own, I can do whatever I want to do.
I mean, just look at from other point of view, because the kids grow, and especially when they're interacting with the children of their own ages, they're not in the uniform. I hated uniform, especially in my school life, because the material was really hot and we had the fans just to believe in it. But in the summer schools, you can wear any clothes you want, and you have so much fun activities lined up. And when I was growing up, I was never lucky to have such sort of summer schools, because summer schools in APS meant more syllabus, more learning, more memorization. But I'm really glad that those old paradigm of the teaching.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes,
I'll use it in my case as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I've done today is that you know, me and my wife, we've been arguing over it for a longer period of time. It's been a week now, and she's like, okay, I need to send the kids to the summer school. And I'm like, okay, you know what? They attended the summer school last year. You know, let them be at home, you know, let them learn, let them, let us give them some ethics and whatnot.
So we can also say the fathers want to save money, no?
Yeah, obviously, that's one point. But, you know, when you speak to a father and that too about the children, it's never about saving money. Any father, any mother, they might not even consider it.
I think it's not for the mothers to take rest when it comes to the children.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. You know, that it's a great cross-pollination of the ideas. But ladies and gentlemen, wait until, you know, you kind of meet our guests as well, because to end this argument, I'm very lucky that I've been actually joined by my lovely wife, who's over here on the set today. So we wanted to have this argument, and that too on television, and then God forbid if it's an argument, ladies and gentlemen, you know how to decide and how to take things in your hand as well. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my lovely wife. She happens to be Miss Mariam Shahzad. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum salam and good morning. I'm feeling very well. Thank you for calling me.
Jazakallah for coming.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Right.
Wonderful
thank you
to
for
have
calling
you over
us.
here. Thank you for giving us your time. And just next to her, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by an educationist. You know, she has a summer camp which is going on. She's going to let us know how it's going to benefit all the kids who are going to attend summer camps, whether it's a business model or not. Because imagine, I think we really need to do justice with this sort of conversation, whether children are going to learn something new. If the children have already attended a summer camp once a year, do you think that there's another requirement for them to go to another summer school the next year for the same activities? That's my question. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by somebody who happens to be an educationist for Sarah's Wisdom Garden, and she's looking after the Summer Wonderland camp as well. She is Miss Munazza Tariq. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Salam. I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. You already know what the debate is all about. So first things first, why do you think that the Sarah's Wisdom Garden had to come up with an idea that, okay, you know, what should the school do in summers? Because the schools have already taken all the fee, you know, even for the summer vacations from their parents. Now they came up with another Summer Wonderland camp, you know, and every school is doing it. And then they're asking for more money. Why do you think there's a need for any child to go to a summer camp? Let's start from here.
All right. So basically, I started, this is my 10th year of running a summer camp. I started my summer camp first in Dubai. Me and my husband, both of them started. So it was a very successful camp over there. We had a really, really wonderful time.
Mashallah.
And yes, there was a lot of learning in that as well. When we moved to Pakistan from 2016 up until now, every single year we've been doing it. And I would say that we have the most children attending our summer camp.
Mashallah.
Now, when you talk about your question again, is it just a money-making thing and stuff? Yes, definitely. This is a commercial thing. This is not. This is not like the school is.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, definitely. The money part is there.
Yep.
Now,
Thank
as
you so
far
much for being honest.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that because this is not. this is not a thing that I would deny.
Yeah.
Yes, the money element is there. One of the motivations for you to be doing it. Secondly, as far as learning is concerned, the kind of learning that the parents expect that the children are going to be doing, what they were doing when they were in the school. When they were in the school, they were doing their, you know, they were studying. They want more studies.
Right.
Even in the summers.
Right.
People come and they say, what will my child learn at the end of the day?
Are
Would they
children
be able
coming
to
or
learn?
parents saying
The
that?
parents say that.
Yes.
Would my child be learning English? Would my child be learning to write? Would my child learn to read?
Yeah.
This is not a school, this is summer camp. Summer camp, like you said, okay, why not just keep the children at home and why don't they just eat, sleep and watch television the entire day? The thing is, the entire year, the children have been going, they've been meeting their friends, they've been meeting their family, they've been meeting their teachers. There's a certain kind of environment that they're used to. Now, this is a time that they come out of their comfort zone. This is a time for learning something completely different. But that's not tangible.
Exactly.
Okay, you can't get a grading for that. Key. You know, how many marks did you get? Social skills, emotional skills, adaptability, communication skills, team building.
Yes. And that's a wonderful thing. And Ms. Mariam, coming to you since you are a lawyer, so I want you to build your case. Do you agree with this very muscular assertion that the mothers want
it's
to
not
send...
even a masculine assertion.
Okay, let me complete it. So the mothers want to send their kids away to summer schools just because they want to get some rest in the first place.
No, I think all men think that
It
women
kind
at
of
home are always
contributes
resting.
to that, right?
Okay.
So no, I think I completely agree with Munazza also, but it may be a commercial thing. But I think that it is more of that kids go and build their own confidence and self-reliance.
Right.
They build, they encourage, you know, the summer schools encourage new friendships. Thus, you know, that encourages diversity.
Right, right.
And
you've seen the change in your daughters
I
too,
have.
right? Yes.
My middle one, Merbano,
Right.
when I sent her to summer camp,
Right.
it was very easy transition sending her to school.
Wonderful.
Because in school, you're like, I really respect to the place they're going, but they're just building robots. They're just feeding information.
True,
to them.
that's true.
And in the summer camp, they learn a lot of new things, new skills, and they new skills, you know, imply new learning skills also.
Wonderful.
Like leadership, communication. It was very easy transition for Merbano to move
To
All
the
right,
school,
all right.
yes.
So that's one point, and that's one point taken. And
Right.
I'll certainly be honest with my job today. So I'm not going to behave like a husband. So I'm going to move back to Manazza way.
Right.
So Manazza, for example, if there was a child last year, in your summer camp, would you recommend that they need to come back in again, or do you think that all of those, emotional skill development, how they're
No.
coming out of comfort zone, it is
It's
required for them?
different every year. One thing that the plans keep on changing,
Yeah.
the new things that you keep on adding, you keep on shifting them. We've had children who've been returning to us for consecutive 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
Until the time that they were older enough and they couldn't be in the camp anymore.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like for example, I'll give you my own example.
Sure.
So my mother, when I was little, there was no concept of summer camps. But my mother used to put us somewhere or the other every single year. We were learning a new skill. It could be pottery, it was baking, it was this and that. So many different things that we learnt over the years in
Yeah.
our summers. Right now, the benefit is that, for example, what I've done is put everything together in the same place, the same
For example,
roof.
baking.
For example, there's
playing, toys.
baking, there's
Yes.
tajweed, the Quranic learning, there is taekwondo, there's gymnastics, there's nunchucks, there's swimming, there's different types of sports, age appropriate of course. There's different types of art and craft, and there's pottery, there's glass painting, there's batik, there's clay art, there's a tremendous and then we have a lot of workshops for the children, especially the older lot.
Wonderful.
We tend to call different people, speakers, people who can work with them, build their communication skills, people like hygienists, nutritionists, doctors,
Yeah.
different people. So when they're engaging with the children are learning a lot more than they would otherwise. And there's time for doing that in an environment where it's like entertainment for them. It's not something that
Exactly, and in addition to that, obviously parents at home are doing the same thing. They're looking after their hygiene, they're educating them
I'm
about that
talking
as
about the
well.
fact
The hygienist
people-
coming in telling them that you really need to wash your hands, and people from different walks of life, parents do that. And I would want to move on to Mariam now. So for example, that's the exact question which I asked Ms. Munazza, whether if somebody has actually already gone to a summer camp, whether they need to go to another summer camp or not. Now my point over here as a father, I'll speak as a father, and that is that because throughout the year, we're working, we certainly do not get those warm hugs, that oftenly from our children, because imagine you leave 7 a.m. and you come back home at 11 and the kids are already sleeping. When you were going, they were sleeping, they were getting ready for school, you come back in, they're sleeping again. So imagine, I think a part of my life I have to dedicate to these summer vacations, because that was the time when I would go to my, for example, grandparents' house, live there for 10 days, be with my cousins, play with them, do whatever I wanted to do, have some colas and drinks and whatnot,
Yes.
I'm
and
sorry
then there
to
was
cut
this.
you, but those days are gone past.
Exactly,
Nowadays,
exactly.
there are no
let me complete.
grandparents sitting
See,
in
let me complete. So, what used to happen was that, that there was this different ethos which was being imparted to me by my grandfather. My chachu would tell me something of wisdom, everybody and the family would meet, and till today, we all cousins are together, and that's something, we use or take for advantage, because it's synergy. I can call anybody up. It's like a family system.
Yes.
And that's something which I would want to instill in my kids too as well, that they remember their cousins. It's good to go to a summer camp. If you can go to a summer camp with your cousins, that's best. But I think that this is the time that they can build more relations, be emotionally strong, be emotionally better, be with their parents most of the time. What's your take on this? Why, as a mother, you would want them to go over there and then come after the summer camp, sleep for a while, and then do whatever they were doing?
Mariam, do you think this is a hindrance in the way that Shahzad is projecting the family values in the first place?
No, I think I do agree with him that
Look, see, they look so happy with their cousins.
Because they're
and,
doing
and
the
we have
summer camp.
evidence.
Yeah.
And we have evidence of that.
Okay, go
no,
ahead.
I do agree with him that the family values they should be instilled in a child.
Yes.
But I think this time period they just have to go for a little while.
Yes.
In this time period they should learn a new skill.
Right.
And they would be aware of their future skills also, and future
In a summer camp, you cannot be aware of your future skills. How can you be aware of your future skills in a summer camp?
because you get to learn a lot of things, you get to meet a lot of new people.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a very
Which you might not even see ever again in your life.
but you're
No,
meeting
but a
new
skill has
people,
been
and
learnt.
then you're
you
encouraging
get to know
diversity.
how
Yeah.
to
And you're-
competitiveness. If you have good social skills, your social skills become even better polished.
So don't
Yes.
you
If
think
you
that
have
we were
poor
already
social
getting those
skills-
social skills when we were sending our kids to school?
No, but
throughout
they're
the year?
learning.
That's different. So see, like I said, that's the same environment that they're going to.
Yeah.
This is a completely different environment for a
Yes.
very short span of time.
Okay.
Completely. So for example, if your child goes in, meets 40 new people in this particular day and for another next 4 weeks, and gets to have competitions with them, gets to have team building competitions with them in which they have to be with them whether they like them or not like them. They're learning a new skill. And that would stick with them till their future, because if you have poor social skills, they'll become better.
Exactly. And over here,
Excellence.
at this point of time, I would like to kind of say that, just yesterday I asked all 3 of my daughters whether you would want to go to a summer camp. And they all said yes. Okay,
Yes.
they were excited about
Right.
it. There's so many activities that they get to do. They might not even get to do that at home.
Right.
But then eventually what I was thinking was that, okay, if they go to the school,
Yes.
all throughout the year, I think that schools should be providing them with this environment which they provide us with, or our children in the summer camp. And then, these 1 month or 2 months, they should just be at home, sleep. For example,
Can I give you
if
an
my daughter was
example?
sleeping at 11 p.m. at night, right? Now she's sleeping from 11 p.m. till 11 a.m. in the morning. Early she was sleeping from 11 p.m. till 7. So they're growing. It's their age to grow. They sleep, they build, they grow. They wake up just being at home, playing with toys, whatnot. I believe that it gives them that freedom to do whatever they want
But
to do.
Shahzad, don't you
Listen,
think
no,
at
I have
home
an
they are just
example.
subjected
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the
It's like
screen?
summer camp is basically like, for example, you have a train engine. It's heated up. It's been for hours it was working. Now it comes to a halt. So you hear that sizzling sound, and that's normal.
Okay.
Normalcy. You put water over it. It'll quickly just
Yeah.
it will cool down. That's what a summer camp is like. Matlab, that's what our vision of a
Yeah.
summer camp is like. Where children come, they relax, there's entertainment. At 10 o'clock they're coming, they can sleep till late in the morning. They come at 10, they leave at 1.
Yes.
They have a time
Yeah.
where they're enjoying, they're learning different from what they're doing. In school they're doing academics.
Yes.
You don't have time for
So in summer
example.
camps, there's no academics, nothing at
No,
all.
there's no academics.
But no, in
why am I even sending my kids?
No,
That's
it,
the
it
question.
is academics in one way, because they're
Academics.
learning a lot of new things
Yeah.
Right.
from
See, skills are
summer
of different
schools.
types. There's
Yeah.
language skills, there's communication skills, there's imaginative
They're
skills.
building confidence also, self-reliance and self-independence. I
and
think
confidence is one of the
I
biggest
think for
things.
somebody who's actually 4 years old, I certainly do not want them to kind of feel that they're independent. I think rather they should actually have a feeling of that
no, but I
reliability on
I
somebody.
I think summer schools are the best option, especially for the parents
Did
like
you
you
go to
and
a summer
Maryam.
school ever?
No, I
See?
once went. No,
And look
I,
at us, what are we doing?
I
No,
once
summer
went,
schools were
but
not
that was
introduced
all
back
fraud
then.
in the name of summer school, because all of us study, and we
That's
had no
that's
option.
it.
right?
Back in those
So,
days, when somebody
yes.
introduced the idea of a summer school, it was always more academic.
Yes,
There were no
yes.
swimming and horse
Yeah,
riding.
oh,
Okay,
no,
and
no,
there's
not at all.
there's one more
No,
problem.
for us it was swimming and riding in summers.
Yeah, obviously, because
But-
you actually belong from a very privileged background, so you would go for swimming and riding and whatnot. You lived a life in a camp, right?
Yes.
So when you go to a camp and your father is a brigadier, you had to you kind of enjoy quite a lot. We certainly did had a brigadier
no, but we
father,
have this-
alhamdulillah, but we certainly did manage to learn swimming and horse riding. But now what I would want to ask you is,
Shahzad, I'm sorry I'm
Yeah.
cutting you here, because you're a father, and I think you have this concern with your kids, and especially it's a challenge for the lot of parents nowadays, that how to limit the screen time of their kids.
Yeah.
Because nowadays when they are not doing anything, what they are doing is that they stick to the screen time.
no,
and
they
I
make
think
me a horsey, they make me a slide. They make me do so many things. They play hide and seek with
How
me.
are you
How
at
much
home
time?
I
that you
think
can
at
do
least
all
an
of
hour
this
or
with
two,
them?
that's what we do.
for the rest of the 24 hours,
Yeah.
23 hours, what do they do? And I think summer camp is a great chance to reduce that screen time, because
True.
they're subjected to a lot of
And they become
activities
so
there,
tired
right?
that
You
they
agree?
can go home and sleep.
I do agree, and for this particular program, I
There's a
actually
lot
did
of
a
physical
research.
there's so many physical activities. More aspect is the physical part, so that and plus imagine the obesity that's growing,
Yes.
the
Yes.
overeating, the junk food, the not doing anything, that the children are sitting in front of the screen. they're
Exactly,
gaining
and
weight.
that's exactly what my point was. So I was never against the idea of summer school, but what I was against the idea was that, okay, let us as parents teach them how to swim. Let us as parents teach them how to ride horses. Let us teach them, all
summer
of these
school
skills.
is
saying
offering
we're
swimming.
putting everything together.
So very quickly,
Yes.
because the last summer school our children went to, and this is something which I've experienced myself. So they had a big list. They were like, okay, swimming, riding, and whatnot. So once in a month's time they took children for swimming, and once in a month's time they took them for riding. So imagine, how do you think that they're going to
what
learn
we
riding?
commit, we do, and plus we have all the almost 10,000 pictures from last year alone. Summer
And
camp.
we're sharing pictures of kids who've actually been attending summer
Yes.
school as well. So please share them. You know, I would want our viewers to actually feel as if, you know, we're doing a
I
cute
think
show
they
today.
were sharing that in the conversation, but Mariam wanted to add something.
Yes,
Please.
I did a
Sure.
special
sure.
research for this
Go
program that, you know, taking a break is really good. It
Yes.
reduces stress and everything. But the science says that if you take a long interval, like a multi-week or months long,
Right.
it can create a learning slide, mental decay for students.
Okay.
For the summer schools, they actually bridge that gap
Right.
in, you know, leveling and balancing out time out
Right.
and learning.
Exactly.
So I think it's a very good opportunity. I think it should go.
And for the same program, I did my research as well, where my research article said that, you know, that it's best that they enjoy at home, be with their parents,
And it was written by
grandparents,
Shahzad Khan.
grandparents
No.
and family members
Yes,
and,
you're
and whatnot. So, you know,
absolutely right.
research can be in
so
any
long
form.
as they're
No, I think
actually
the kids should
there.
progress.
Unfortunately, these days, families are not there.
Okay.
Even the ones who come, for example, I'll give you my own example. My sisters are coming right now. Both of them are PhDs, and they're going to be working from home. So what's going to happen is somebody is going to be babysitting her children
Yep.
while she's going to be working all the time.
Yeah.
So although it's a family vacation, nonetheless, despite all of that, it's actually not family vacation at the same
Okay,
time.
so let me channel it the right way. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's
Yes.
not that we are against the concept of summer school, but obviously
Yes.
what we are trying to build up over here is that if you are deciding, if you have decided as a couple to kind of make sure that you want to send your children to a summer school, what you really need to do is that you need to make sure that it's not just academics that they are actually focusing on. You know, if it's arts, if it's poetry, you know, if it's riding, if it's swimming, if it's activity based, if they're going to take them to different places, I think that's the kind of a summer school which I would want my kids to go to, rather than
Right.
people only claiming that, you know, there's swimming and, you know, only once a month you're going to take them swimming. That's
Right.
not how my child is going to learn swimming. My motive over here
Right.
is that what my parents taught me while I was growing up, it was swimming, riding, archery, polo, whatnot, basketball. You know, I would want my children to go 2-3 months, just experience that, be a part of a team, make sure that there's
Right.
discipline instilled in them as well, and they know how to be a team player. I think that these are the things we're looking forward to, which is why don't you share the list of your summer school? What are they doing? Summer Wonderland.
Okay,
Yeah,
just a
go
second.
ahead.
I'll have to just look at it. Well, there's mixed martial arts, which includes taekwondo, gymnastics, nunchucks,
Wow.
and depending upon the age of the child, though. Then we have arts and crafts for the little ones. It's more like painting, painting, stamping, sponging, you know, all of those things which they can
Right.
easily do, cutting, pasting. For the older ones then, from 2 to 4, it's more like this. From 5 to 7, it becomes more like they can do it themselves. They can, you know, it becomes more. For the older ones, the eldest group, which is from 8 to 13 years of age, then we start including things like candle making, soap making,
Wonderful.
pot designing, pot making, then different types of workshops for them, glass painting, different types of art is included in it, which
Right.
has, there's a person who is already trained in this who comes and does that. For example, till last year, unfortunately right now she has cancer, Miss Shiri Rebam, might be that you know her. She was doing she was an art teacher and she was doing
That's a wonderful
that.
activity, Ms. Munazza. So, Mariam, I want to come towards you because
Yes.
so you have grown into the camps and you will certainly understand that feeling that when your mothers were going to the club, so there was a
Yes.
lot of candle making, flower arrangement,
And pottery
of
and all
these-
that sort,
Yes,
yes,
the
yes.
feminine sort of the, I would say, that were instilled into
Yes.
them, the feminine touch that was instilled into them, the grooming, I
The
would call it,
grooming,
yes?
yes.
The mess grooming and whatnot. So, and you feel, do you want to, I mean, pass down that tradition from your mother, which you acquired, into your
Definitely.
kids? And because there's so much, and I see that there's a lot of candle making and soap making business which is coming on
Which
the
is- it
Instagram.
is,
Yeah,
it
the
is, yes.
homegrown, and kids are into it, or people are into it, right? So in the future, do you want your kids or your daughters to acquire that? in the
Yes,
first place?
definitely I want to make her learn a new skill. I tried, you know, making her learn baking and sort, but I still stand
Yeah.
that I agree with Shahzad that family they have to come together during summer break,
Right.
but I think they need to progress also, because all they're doing right now is just sleeping, eating and watching telly all day, every
That's
day.
life, no? Good life.
It is
Sleeping,
not
eating
good
and
life
repeating.
because they're not learning anything.
Yes, yes,
And I want them to progress,
right,
and I want them to learn new things, make new friends,
right.
and they're going to create a lot of new memories through this.
But also, I do feel that there's a lot of pressure on the parents nowadays because, like you mentioned, so there is this, I think, a trendy thing going on that they have to instill in their kids something new, right? Maybe learn a new language. So we were not projected to this pressure back when we were growing up, right? And I think we fared really good.
I think our parents never had that pressure.
Yes, yes.
No, but these are the basic social norms
Right.
that you have to, you know, go pass through, and you have to, you know, how do we call it? You have to ride with the society.
Yes,
you know, you have to go with the flow. So I really want my daughter to learn a new language, which
so
I think Shahzad is very much against. I want her to learn French.
She wants her to learn French. I'm like,
Why
okay,
not?
you know, let her to. I think she should learn Chinese.
Okay, so I know Turkish, and when I went to Istanbul, it helped me a lot.
Obviously,
so,
you know, so
yes.
French is only going to help you in France. Chinese might help you
the Europe,
in a population of a
the
billion,
entire Europe.
a billion
The entire
people's country.
Europe speaks French.
No,
French
not
is a
entire
very,
Europe. I've just been to Europe. I've
So-
seen them.
so-
You know,
so
German does not
I
speak
think-
any other language other than German.
I mean, so still French is the language which is mostly
It used to be,
well-spoken.
I think, what
Yes.
people need to learn today is Chinese. Okay, that's a different subject, but very quickly. What, you know, so there was a list of activities which Miss Munazar just shared. So there was karate, art and
Zumba.
crafts,
There's drumming
candle
circles,
making,
science
glass painting.
experiments.
So no
there's-
swimming, no riding, right?
No,
No,
there
no,
is.
there is
Okay,
swimming
so
as well. There's no riding, but there is
so there's
swimming.
swimming. So there's
Yes,
swimming as well.
there's
So
swimming.
what activities would you want your kids to pick up on if they go to your this summer camp?
My daughter is already doing martial arts.
Yeah.
So I want her to pick up on swimming and pottery.
And we took them to swimming last summer camp as well, right?
Yes.
You know, so we made sure that they're going to learn swimming. Did they learn swimming?
They learned how to float,
Yeah.
but they didn't learn swimming. But I'm pretty sure they will. this
Exactly.
time.
So it's a month-long summer camp, right?
It's for 2 months.
It's for 2 months.
Divided into 2 months, yes.
And you know, so the kids would only be going to the swimming pool once a week, right?
once a week.
So do you
on
think that in
Fridays.
8, because they'll be going to the swimming pool 8 times, do you think that they can learn in these
But
8
aren't
sessions?
you offering?
Depends
On
from
the kids,
child to child.
yes.
And plus we have a swimming camp in the evenings as well.
Yes.
Wow.
It runs from 1:30 till 5:30.
ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਸੁਕਾ ਰਹੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ okay. And you know, so there's another pertinent question, and that is that do you think that because the summer camp starts at 10, most of the parents have to go to their workplaces, you know, usually for us it's 7 and 8 in the morning.
Yes.
So do you think there's any pick and drop for kids
So,
as well?
No, there isn't, but we have a daycare. And we do facilitate parents who want to do an early drop-off
Yeah.
and who want to do a late
Awesome.
pickup.
And that's how business is these days, you know. So imagine there's a day camp, then there's an evening camp, then there's a daycare.
So
But
there's everything under one roof.
Alhamdulillah, there's everything other than pick and drop, because I have to leave for my work at 8. You know, how do you think I'll be going back and then picking up my kids again and then dropping to a summer camp? You know, so it's from a person who would want to facilitate by the kind of facilities provided under one roof. It's wonderful. But do you think that we can work on that so that
So
the
you've
pick and
given
drop
me
can be more
food for
convenient?
thought. So let's see.
I think it's wonderful, and it's not just
Yes.
me, it's my producer, Ms. Seher Rabbani, Mr. Hasnan Hamid, everybody's asking for it.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, you know, so it's totally your choice,
Yes.
you know, so my wife has to say that, you know, obviously emotional, you know, discipline, you get
Yes.
to have self-reliability, you decide for yourself, decision-making capacity obviously enhances. But for me, as a father, I would certainly want them to be in front of my eyes whenever I'm at
Oh,
home. That's it.
wonderful.
I might be a selfish father for this, but obviously they learn quite a lot from summer camps because
Yes.
it's not just books, not at all. You know, so it's more of extracurricular activities, making sure to learn a new skill. And if they can learn this new skill in 2 months' time, there's no harm in sending them to a summer camp.
And also socializing, because it's very important in the era where the kids are glued to the screen. Not just the kids, I think also the parents are doing the same and the grandparents are doing the same. So we need to break this very toxic sort of a tradition. And with that, we will thank both of our guests
Thank
for coming
you
here.
so
Thank you so much
much.
for
Thank
coming
you for
here.
having
Jazakallah
us.
khair. And it was wonderful having you. And I think that was a very healthy debate. And I don't know if Shahzad is convinced or not. I will certainly ask him after the show that whether he
I think
is
for a larger benefit, obviously the kids need to go to
Right,
summer
right.
camp, they'll learn quite a lot.
Yes.
But please make sure that you decide for yourself when you visit as a parent the summer camp yourself and decide that, okay, you know, whether they'll be learning something over here or not, because I've seen a few of the summer camps which looked really shady. You know, so I would want people to
Yeah,
go over there
yes.
and then make sure that, you know, for whatever value you're adding to the organization by paying them the money,
Yes.
whether they are responding with the same value or
Yes.
not. That's something which everybody needs to judge
Yes.
for themselves. Once again, thank you so much for bearing
you
with
so
our
much.
questions as a host and then as a father. You know, so I was jumping around different hats
Yes.
as well. But ladies and gentlemen, the
Yes.
decision is obviously yours because they're your kids, you know, so I'll be deciding for my kids.
Yes.
And for everybody who's out there,
Yes.
they'll be deciding for their kids. So whatever you think is best, obviously as a parent, it's not about the money, ladies and gentlemen. It's always about how better our kid will be performing in days to come and what the future holds for them. Until next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good
Don't send your
morning.
kids to the summer camp. Good morning.
Good morning.